Lisa Carter floated in the observation deck of the ship Horizon, her eyes fixed on the vast emptiness of space. The stars looked like tiny white dots on a black canvas. She had been studying them for 20 years, but they still filled her with wonder. "Dr. Carter, you should get some rest," said Alan Freeman as he entered the room. He was the chief science officer and had worked with Lisa for 5 years. "I can't sleep," Lisa replied, not taking her eyes off the view. "Something feels different tonight." Alan sighed. Lisa often had these feelings. Sometimes they led to nothing. Other times, they led to amazing discoveries. That was why she was the best xenorchaeologist in the fleet. "The scanners haven't picked up anything unusual," Alan said, checking his datapad. "They will," Lisa said quietly. As if on cue, a soft beep came from the control panel. Alan moved quickly to check it. "That's strange," he muttered, his fingers moving across the screen. "We're getting a signal from Sector 47. Lisa pushed herself away from the window and glided toward him. In the low gravity, her movements were smooth and efficient. "Show me," she said. Alan brought up the data. A weak but steady pulse appeared on the screen. It repeated in a pattern that seemed almost intentional. "It's probably just background radiation," Alan said, but his voice lacked conviction. Lisa shook her head. "No, this is different. Look at the pattern." She pointed to the screen where the signal pulsed in groups of 3, then 2, then 3 again. "It's too regular. This isn't random." Alan frowned. "If it's a communication, it's not using any protocol I recognize. And the Confederation database doesn't match it to any known species." "How old is it?" Lisa asked, her heart beating faster. Alan ran some calculations. His eyes widened as the results appeared. "That can't be right," he whispered. "What is it?" Lisa asked, leaning closer. "Based on the signal degradation and the distance." Alan paused, double-checking his math. "This signal has been traveling for approximately 40,000 years." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. 40,000 years. That's around the time Earth disappeared from historical records. Alan finished for her. The ship Horizon had been exploring the outer reaches of the galaxy for 3 years. Its mission was to find new planets for the Galactic Confederation to colonize. But Lisa had always been more interested in finding clues about humanity's original home. "We need to follow this signal to its source," Lisa said firmly. Alan shook his head. "Our mission parameters don't allow for." "Alan," Lisa interrupted, "this could be it. This could be the answer to where we came from. Don't you want to know?" Alan hesitated. Like all humans in the Confederation, he had grown up with stories about Earth, the mythical homeland of humanity that had somehow been lost to time. Some believed it was destroyed. Others thought it was hidden. But no one had found concrete evidence either way. "I'll talk to Captain Garcia," he finally said, "but I can't promise anything." Lisa nodded, her gaze returning to the stars. Somewhere out there was the source of that signal. A message sent 40,000 years ago that was only now reaching them. A message that might finally tell humanity what had happened to Earth. "Whatever it is," she whispered to herself, "I'm going to find it." The signal continued to pulse on the screen. 3 beats, 2 beats, 3 beats, like a heartbeat from the distant past, still echoing in the void of space. Jack Morrison hadn't slept in 3 days. His eyes were red, and empty coffee cups surrounded his workstation. But he didn't care. The signal fascinated him. "Any progress?" Lisa asked as she entered the communications lab. Jack looked up and rubbed his eyes. "Some. This signal is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's complex, but has patterns I can recognize." "What kind of patterns?" Lisa pulled up a chair next to him. "It has sections that repeat in ways that remind me of language. Other parts seem to contain data, images maybe, or music." Jack pointed to different parts of the signal analysis on his screen. For weeks, the Horizon had followed the signal to its source. Captain Garcia had agreed to change their mission after Lisa convinced him of the potential importance of the discovery. Now they were closer than ever to finding answers. "Can you decode any of it?" Lisa asked. Jack nodded slowly. "I think so. Watch this." He typed a series of commands, and suddenly, the main screen filled with a new image. It showed a blue and green planet with white clouds swirling over oceans. "Is that?" Lisa's voice trailed off. "I think it's Earth," Jack said quietly. "Based on old descriptions in our history books, this matches what Earth supposedly looked like." Lisa stared at the image. It was beautiful, a perfect blue sphere hanging in space, home to billions of humans before they spread across the stars, before Earth vanished from history. "There's more," Jack continued. He pressed another button, and strange symbols appeared on the screen. "What are those?" Lisa asked. "I believe it's an ancient human language called English. Our onboard database has some records of it. The computer is translating now." Words slowly appeared beneath the symbols. "This is Earth's final transmission. If anyone receives this message, remember us." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. "Earth's final transmission," she whispered. "What happened to them?" Jack shook his head. "I'm still working on decoding the rest. There's much more data here. Mathematical formulas, music, images of humans and their civilization." The door to the lab opened, and Olivia Wright walked in. As the ship's historian, she had been helping Jack with his work. "I heard you made a breakthrough," she said, her eyes immediately drawn to the screen. When she saw the planet and the message, she gasped. "This matches the legends," Olivia said. "Stories passed down through generations about old Earth. They say it was beautiful and filled with life before something terrible happened." "What kind of terrible thing?" Lisa asked. "The stories differ. Some say it was a natural disaster. Others suggest war or disease." Olivia moved closer to the screen. "But many legends speak of a message sent out before the end, a message meant to preserve Earth's legacy." Jack continued working on the signal. "There's a section here that seems different from the rest. It's like a desperate plea." More words appeared on the screen. "They have found us. We have little time. We have hidden our children among the stars. One day, they will remember and return." Lisa, Jack, and Olivia looked at each other. "Who found them?" Lisa asked. "And what does it mean about hiding their children?" "Maybe it means us," Olivia suggested. "Human colonies are spread across thousands of planets now. Perhaps Earth sent out colonists before it was destroyed." Jack nodded thoughtfully. "But why don't we remember? Why is Earth just a legend to us now?" "We need to decode the rest of the message," Lisa said firmly. "And we need to decide what to do with this information." "The Confederation should know about this," Olivia said. Lisa wasn't so sure. "Maybe. But let's understand what we're dealing with first. This message has traveled 40,000 years to reach us. We owe it to Earth to hear their full story before we tell anyone else." The image of Earth continued to shine on the screen, a ghost from humanity's forgotten past, reaching out across time and space with its final words. Paul Rodriguez walked quickly through the gleaming halls of Confederation headquarters. People moved out of his way. They knew the look on his face. It was the look of a man with bad news. He entered the main conference room where 12 beings sat around a large table. Some were human. Others were not. All were leaders of the Galactic Confederation. "Ambassador Rodriguez," said the chairperson, a tall woman named Ellen Boyd. "You requested this emergency meeting. What is so important?" Paul took a deep breath. "We have received information about Earth." The room went silent. Even the aliens who normally fidgeted sat still. "Continue," Ellen said quietly. "The exploration ship Horizon has discovered a signal. It appears to be Earth's final transmission, sent 40,000 years ago before our homeworld disappeared." Murmurs filled the room. Earth was more than a lost planet. It was a mystery that had shaped human identity for thousands of years. Humans had spread across the galaxy, but they never knew what happened to their original home. "What does the transmission say?" asked a human counselor. "We don't have all the details yet," Paul replied. but it suggests Earth faced some kind of threat. The message mentions hiding their children among the stars. The largest alien in the room, a Dravik named Kor, spoke in a deep voice. This is merely a historical curiosity. Why bring it to the Council? Paul looked directly at the Dravik. Because whatever happened to Earth 40,000 years ago might still matter today. If some force destroyed humanity's homeworld, shouldn't we know what it was? Kor's 4 eyes blinked slowly. The past is past. Digging into it serves no purpose. Ellen raised her hand for quiet. Where is the horizon now? They are continuing to study the signal, Paul said. Captain Garcia has requested permission to investigate further. Denied, Kor said immediately. This is a waste of resources. Paul was surprised by the Dravik's quick response. The Dravik were one of the oldest species in the Confederation. They usually pretended not to care about human affairs. Ellen frowned. That's not your decision alone, Counselor Kor. We should vote. Before we vote, Paul said, you should know that there's more. The signal contains coordinates and data that might help us locate Earth's original position. This caused more commotion. Finding Earth's location had been impossible for millennia. All records of its position had somehow been lost or destroyed. The Dravik Empire objects to this investigation, Kor said, standing up. His massive form towered over the others. It will create unnecessary tension between species. Why would learning about Earth create tension? Paul asked. Kor didn't answer. Instead, he looked at the other alien representatives. Many of them nodded in agreement with him. The vote was taken. The Council decided that the Horizon should return to its original mission. The Earth transmission was to be sent to Confederation archives for further study, which Paul knew meant it would be buried and forgotten. After the meeting, Paul sent a private message to the Horizon. He warned Captain Garcia that the Council's decision seemed strange, especially the Dravik reaction. He suggested they be careful. Meanwhile, aboard the Horizon, Susan Martinez was in the ship's observation deck. As the security commander, she was responsible for the safety of everyone on board. Lately, she had noticed something concerning. Computer, identify all ships within sensor range, she said. The computer displayed 4 small dots. 3 were regular transport ships. The 4th was unmarked. Susan frowned. That's the 3rd unmarked vessel we've seen this week, always just at the edge of our sensor range. She decided not to tell the captain yet. She needed more evidence first, but she increased security across the ship and put her team on alert. Something wasn't right. The Horizon had found a message from humanity's past, and now they were being watched. Susan didn't believe in coincidences. Someone didn't want them learning the truth about Earth, and she was determined to find out who and why. Kevin Phillips stared at his navigation screen, his face lit by its soft blue glow. The message from Ambassador Rodriguez had arrived yesterday. The official order was clear. Return to their original mission and forget about Earth's final transmission. But Captain Garcia had called a private meeting with the senior crew. They had decided to disobey. How's it coming, Kevin? Lisa asked as she entered the navigation room. I think I've got it, he said. The signal contained coordinates, but they were hidden in the mathematical formulas. It was clever, like they were trying to hide the location from someone. Lisa looked over his shoulder. And you're sure that's where Earth was? Kevin nodded. The star patterns match what little we know from historical records. But there's something else. He pulled up another image on his screen. See this area? Lisa leaned closer. The silent void. Yes, it's a massive gravitational anomaly. Ships avoid it because several have disappeared there. And look where Earth's coordinates are. Lisa's eyes widened. Right at the edge of the void. The void didn't exist 40,000 years ago, Kevin said. Something created it, and I think it happened around the same time Earth disappeared. Captain Garcia's voice came over the ship's communication system. Senior officers to the bridge. We're approaching the coordinates. When Lisa and Kevin arrived at the bridge, Everyone was already there. Through the main viewport, they could see the edge of the silent void, a strange distortion in space where stars seemed to bend and twist. "Sensors are picking up something," Alan reported from his station. "There's an object at the coordinates." "On screen," Garcia ordered. The image shifted to show a dark structure floating in space. It was clearly artificial, a space station of some kind, but unlike any design they had seen before. Parts of it were damaged, as if it had been in a battle. "It's human design," Olivia said, her voice filled with awe. "But it predates any human technology in Confederation records." "Life signs?" Garcia asked. "None," Susan replied. "But there's minimal power still running. Some systems might be operational." Garcia stood from his chair. "Prepare an exploration team. Dr. Carter, Mr. Freeman, you'll join Commander Martinez and Engineer Thompson. I want to know what that station is and how it relates to Earth's final message." An hour later, Lisa floated through the dark corridors of the ancient station. Their suit lights cast eerie shadows on the walls. Susan moved ahead, weapon ready, while Alan scanned everything with his devices. Nancy Thompson, the ship's engineer, worked to restore power to sections of the station. "This place is at least 40,000 years old," Nancy said over their comm system. "But the technology is incredible. Some systems are still functioning." They reached what appeared to be a central chamber. Nancy managed to restore partial power, and soft lights flickered on. In the center of the room stood a cube-shaped device. "What is it?" Lisa asked. Nancy approached it carefully. "It appears to be some kind of data storage unit, but it's using quantum technology, much more advanced than anything we have now." "Can you access it?" Lisa asked. Nancy worked on the device for several minutes. Suddenly, a holographic display appeared above the cube. It showed images of Earth, cities, oceans, forests. Then the images changed. Fire, destruction, strange ships in the sky. "Those ships," Susan said, moving closer. "They looked Dravik." The hologram showed humans fighting back against the attackers. Then it displayed a final message. "Earth has fallen, but we have a plan. Our children will survive, and one day they will remember." Nancy discovered a hidden compartment in the device. Inside was a small data crystal, still intact. "This contains all the records from Earth's final days," she said after scanning it, "including evidence of who attacked them." Susan's communication device beeped. "Martin is here." "Commander," came the urgent voice of Captain Garcia. "We have multiple ships approaching. Dravik warships. They're powering weapons. We need to take this crystal and go," Susan ordered. "Now." As they rushed back toward their shuttle, Lisa couldn't help but wonder, what was in these records that the Dravik had been hiding for 40,000 years? And why were they so determined to keep it secret? The horizon shook as another blast hit its shields. Captain Garcia gripped his chair and shouted orders. "Evasive maneuvers. Get our people back from that station now." On the screen, 3 Dravik warships moved into attack formation. They were large, their hulls covered in weapon ports. The Horizon was a science vessel. It was not built for battle. In the shuttle bay, Lisa, Susan, Alan, and Nancy rushed from their small craft. The station was now behind them, but the data crystal from the quantum vault was safe in Nancy's pocket. "Report to the bridge immediately," Garcia ordered over the comm system. When they arrived, the situation looked grim. One of the Horizon's engines was damaged. The shields were failing. "We can't outfight them," Susan said, assessing the tactical display. "We need to run." "With one damaged engine." Garcia shook his head. "They'll catch us before we reach the jump point." Mary Johnson, the communications officer, suddenly called out from her station. "Captain, I'm picking up transmissions between the Dravik ships." "Can you decode them?" Garcia asked. Mary's fingers flew across her console. "Working on it. Their encryption is complex," but her eyes widened. "I've got it. Putting it on speakers." A deep, guttural voice filled the bridge. The words were translated by the ship's computer. Do not let them escape with the Earth data. Supreme Command says destroy them if necessary. No humans must learn the truth about what we did to their home world. Everyone on the bridge fell silent. The Dravik, the oldest and most respected species in the Confederation, had destroyed Earth, and now they were trying to hide it. Play the rest of it, Garcia ordered. Another voice spoke. After what happened with Earth, we cannot risk humans discovering their true potential. The containment protocol must be maintained. Containment protocol? Lisa asked. I think they're talking about the Confederation itself, Alan said quietly. What if it wasn't created for peace? What if the Dravik created it to control humans? A new blast rocked the ship. Warning alarms blared. Shields at 15%, reported the tactical officer. Garcia's face hardened. Nancy, can you give us more power to the engines? I can try to reroute power from non-essential systems, she said, already moving toward the engineering station. Do it, Garcia ordered. We need to survive long enough to tell others what we found. As Nancy worked, Mary continued monitoring the Dravik communications. Captain, there's more, Mary said. They're talking about something called the Phoenix Protocol. They seem afraid of it. Is it in the data we recovered? Garcia asked. Nancy quickly connected the data crystal to her console. Scanning now. Yes. It's here. The Phoenix Protocol appears to be some kind of weapon or technology that Earth was developing. Something specifically designed to counter Dravik technology. Another hit shook the ship violently. Several consoles exploded in sparks. Shields failing, the tactical officer shouted. Engine modifications complete, Nancy called out. We have about 30 seconds of maximum thrust before the systems burn out. Garcia didn't hesitate. Helm, set course for Haven Colony. It's independent, outside direct Confederation control. Full emergency thrust on my mark. Now. The horizon lurched forward as its engines burned with dangerous intensity. The sudden burst of speed caught the Dravik by surprise. Their larger ships couldn't match the rapid acceleration. They're falling behind, Susan reported, watching the tactical display. But they're still pursuing. Lisa looked at the data streaming across Nancy's screen. It wasn't just technical information about the Phoenix Protocol. There were genetic codes, cultural records, everything that made humans what they were. This wasn't just a weapon, she said softly. Earth sent out its legacy. They knew they were going to be destroyed, so they preserved everything they could and scattered it among the stars. They wanted their children, us, to find it someday. Garcia nodded grimly. And now we have. The question is, what do we do with it? Daniel Brown stood guard outside the damaged engine room of the Horizon. The ship had managed to escape the Dravik warships, but not without cost. Systems were failing throughout the vessel, and repair teams worked around the clock to keep them running. The door opened, and Lisa stepped out, looking tired but excited. How's it going in there? Daniel asked. Nancy and Alan have made a breakthrough, Lisa replied. They're decoding more of Earth's final transmission. Daniel nodded. His job was to protect the crew, but lately that had become more complicated. After discovering the Dravik's betrayal, they couldn't trust anyone outside their own ship. The captain wants everyone in the briefing room, Lisa said. They'd found something important. When they arrived, the room was already full. Captain Garcia stood at the front, his face grim. Next to him, Nancy was connecting the data crystal to the main display system. Thank you for coming, Garcia began. As you all know, we're currently hiding in an asteroid field near the Haven Colony. The Dravik are still searching for us, but we should be safe for now. He nodded to Nancy, who activated the display. The complex set of images appeared, showing technical diagrams, star maps, and what looked like genetic sequences. We've managed to decode the remaining portions of Earth's final transmission, Garcia continued. What we found changes everything we thought we knew about ourselves and our history. Nancy stepped forward. The transmission contains 3 key elements. First, coordinates to dozens of hidden human outposts established before Earth's destruction, places not on any Confederation map. She highlighted several points on a star chart. Second, detailed blueprints for the Phoenix Protocol. It's not just a weapon. It's a complete technological system designed to neutralize Dravik advantages. Earth's scientists created it specifically to counter Dravik technology, but they couldn't complete it before the attack. Ellen joined her at the display. Most importantly, the transmission contains genetic data and cultural records. Everything that made Earth what it was. Music, art, science, philosophy, all preserved in this signal that's been traveling through space for 40,000 years. Jack Morrison spoke up from his seat. They didn't just send a distress call. They sent us the means to rebuild and defend ourselves. Exactly, Garcia said. Earth knew it was going to fall. But they made sure their legacy would survive through their colonies, through us. Daniel thought about this. His entire life, he had been taught that the Confederation was humanity's greatest achievement, a peaceful alliance of species working together. Now he knew it was a prison designed to keep humans controlled and separated from their true heritage. There's something else, Lisa said, standing up. The transmission ends with a personal message. We believe it was recorded by the leader of Earth's final resistance. She nodded to Jack, who played the recording. A woman's voice filled the room, calm despite the sounds of destruction in the background. To whoever finds this message, we are Earth. We fought to the end, but we could not save our world from the Dravik. They fear what we might become. They saw our potential and decided to destroy us before we could challenge them. But they don't understand humanity's greatest strength. We don't die easily. We adapt. We endure. Explosions could be heard in the recording. The woman continued, "We have hidden our children among the stars. We have scattered our knowledge in transmissions like this one. The Phoenix Protocol remains incomplete, but the plans are sound. Find the other outposts. Gather our people. Remember who you are and what we were capable of." Her voice grew stronger despite the chaos around her. "Though we fall today, we have seeded the stars with our children. When they remember us, they will rise. Earth may die, but humanity will echo across eternity." The recording ended. The room was silent. That was the true final message, Garcia said quietly. Not just a distress call, but a mission. Our mission. Daniel looked around at his crewmates. They were no longer just explorers. They were Earth's legacy, and they had work to do. The ship Horizon limped into Haven's small spaceport. Its hull was scorched from Dravik weapons fire. One engine barely worked, but it had made it. Captain William Garcia stepped off the ship, followed by Lisa and the senior crew. They were met by a small group of people led by a woman with gray hair and a stern face. "Captain Garcia," the woman said, extending her hand. "I'm Governor Laura Nelson. Your message was concerning." Garcia shook her hand. "Thank you for agreeing to meet us, Governor. What we have to discuss should not be overheard." Laura nodded and led them to a secure room in the colony's main building. Haven was small compared to Confederation worlds, with only about 50,000 people. But it was independent, founded by humans who wanted to live away from alien influence. Once they were alone, Garcia told Laura everything. He showed her the data crystal and played Earth's final message. When he finished, Laura sat quietly for a long time. "I always knew there was something wrong with the Confederation," she finally said. "The way the Dravik and other elder species treated humans, like children who needed guidance. Now I know why." "We need your help," Lisa said. "The Dravik will be looking for us, and we need to contact other human settlements secretly." Laura smiled slightly. "Haven has been preparing for trouble with the Confederation for years. We have secure communication channels that even the Dravik don't know about. And we have friends on other colonies who feel the same way we do." "There's something else we need help with," Nancy said. She placed a data pad on the table. The Phoenix Protocol. Based on the blueprints in Earth's transmission, we believe we can build it. But we need resources and people with specific skills. Frank Miller, Haven's chief engineer, studied the plans on the datapad. His eyes widened as he understood what he was seeing. "This is incredible," he said. "If this works, it would completely neutralize Dravik weapons and shields. They would be defenseless against us." "Can you build it?" Garcia asked. Frank looked thoughtful. "Not quickly and not alone, but with help from other colonies. Yes, I think so." Over the next few days, Laura sent coded messages to human colonies throughout the galaxy. Some were official Confederation worlds. Others were independent like Haven. All received the same message. Earth has spoken. It's time to remember. Meanwhile, Olivia spent her time studying the genetic data from Earth's transmission. One evening, she burst into the room where Lisa and the others were working. "I found something," she said, her voice excited. "The genetic records show that ancient Earth scientists hid something in our DNA, dormant abilities that could be activated under the right conditions." "What kind of abilities?" Lisa asked. "Enhanced intelligence, strength, rapid healing, even some telepathic capabilities. They engineered these traits as a failsafe against the Dravik, but they're latent, turned off in our genetic code." "Why would they be turned off?" Daniel asked. "I think it was part of the plan," Olivia explained. "If the Dravik scanned humans, they wouldn't detect these abilities. But according to these notes, the traits can be awakened with the right treatment." Laura leaned forward. "Are you saying we could become more than we are now?" Olivia nodded. Earth made sure their children would have the tools to fight back someday. Not just technology, but biology too. Lisa looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there were dozens of hidden human outposts, established by Earth before its fall. Places where humans might have already awakened these abilities. Places where Earth's legacy lived on, waiting to be rediscovered. "We need to find the other outposts," she said. "All of them. And we need to start preparing." "For what?" Frank asked. Lisa turned to face the room. "For the day when humanity remembers who they really are. The day we stop being the Dravik's pets and start being what Earth intended us to be. Their worst nightmare." 40 years passed. The small rebellion that started on Haven grew into a movement that spread across the galaxy. Human colonies secretly communicated, sharing the knowledge from Earth's final transmission. The Phoenix Protocol was built piece by piece, hidden from Dravik eyes. Admiral Judy Baker stood on the bridge of the Freedom, the largest human ship ever built. Once she had been a young officer trained by Lisa Carter. Now Lisa was gone, but her legacy lived on. Like many humans in the Resistance, Judy had undergone the treatment to awaken her dormant abilities. Her mind was sharper, her body stronger. "Status report," Judy ordered. "Dravik fleet approaching Haven. Admiral," her tactical officer reported. "They've discovered our main base. 20 warships. They're demanding immediate surrender." Judy wasn't surprised. For years, the Dravik had been growing suspicious as more humans quietly disappeared from Confederation worlds. The Resistance had managed to find all the hidden outposts Earth had established. Some were small colonies. Others were massive underground bases filled with ancient technology. But now the Dravik had finally realized what was happening. Their response was exactly what Earth had predicted 40,000 years ago, a purge of human worlds. "All ships report ready, Admiral," the communications officer said. "The Phoenix Protocol is installed and operational across the fleet." Judy nodded. "Send the signal to all human colonies. It's time." Throughout human space, people received the message they had been waiting for. On Confederation worlds, humans slipped away to hidden ships. In secret bases, weapons were activated. The moment Earth had planned for had finally arrived. The Freedom moved to meet the Dravik fleet, along with 50 other ships built in secret over decades. It was a smaller force than the Dravik commanded, but they had Earth's legacy on their side. The Dravik are firing, the tactical officer shouted. Judy remained calm. Activate the Phoenix Protocol. A soft hum filled the ship as the technology designed 40,000 years ago came to life. The Dravik weapons struck the Freedom and did nothing. Their energy dissipated harmlessly against the shields. Return fire, Judy ordered. Human weapons tore through Dravik shields that had never been designed to resist Earth technology. The battle was short but fierce. When it ended, the Dravik fleet was in ruins. We're receiving signals from all sectors, the communications officer reported excitedly. Human colonies are fighting back everywhere. The Dravik can't stop them. Judy smiled. Earth's plan had worked perfectly. The Dravik had grown complacent over millennia, never imagining that the scattered humans could unite and remember their true heritage. Admiral, the communications officer said, we're picking up a strange signal. It's coming from the direction of the silent void. Put it on speakers, Judy said. The bridge fell silent as a familiar message played. Earth's final transmission. But this time, it was complete. The full message that had been scattered in pieces across the stars was now playing from its source. We are Earth. We fought to the end against those who feared what we might become. We scattered our children among the stars with the knowledge they would need when the time was right. If you are hearing this complete message, then our plan has succeeded. Our children have remembered. They have united. They have risen. Judy looked out at the stars. Somehow, Earth itself had known this day would come. The message continued. We built a failsafe into the Phoenix Protocol. When activated across enough systems simultaneously, it will restore what was hidden. Look to where Earth once stood. Our final gift awaits you there. The silent void began to change. The strange distortion in space started to fade. Where there had once been emptiness, a blue-green planet slowly appeared. Earth itself, hidden but not destroyed, preserved in a pocket of folded spacetime for 40,000 years. Earth's final transmission had never been a goodbye. It had been a promise that one day, humanity would remember its strength, reclaim its heritage, and return home. And that day had finally come.